What makes a city bike-friendly? And who decides what bike-friendly even means? Is it the politicians, the traffic planners, or the lobby groups? Or do you rely on statistics from accidents, or percentage of bicycle usage, or the amount of installed infrastructure to make the case? Hi, I'm Sloedi Spaghetti, and as a long-time advocate for cycling, I've had this discussion with all sorts of people and have received all sorts of answers, many of them contradicting each other. It all depends on personal preference and expectations. We're all experts in our own right, and nobody can deny you your experience. So the best way to come to an objective conclusion is by asking as many people as possible and conducting a survey amongst the cyclists themselves. That way, everybody can voice their opinion based on experience, and decision makers get solid, reliable feedbacks. Such surveys are carried out on a regular basis in some countries and have become tradition. I always look forward to taking part where I live in Switzerland and get excited to see the results. How does my city fare in comparison? Am I the only one to notice that nothing has been accomplished since the last survey, or will others come to a similar conclusion? And how will politicians react? I remember a city mayor once complaining that the results were rigged and that his city was far more bike-friendly than the survey suggested. He claimed that he was an avid cyclist himself and took the news personally, as if it was an attack on his reputation. Guess he was a bit of a narcissist, a common trait in politicians. He did have a point, though, because even a survey can be somewhat biased. Ironically, this mayor could have rectified the bias himself, but didn't show any signs of that beyond complaining and making false allegations. The bias goes towards the selected group participating in the survey. But that's not the survey's fault. Traditionally, such surveys are initiated, organized, and funded by national advocacy groups. And they, in turn, usually have to rely on their members to participate. It's not easy to find people willing to sit down for a quarter of an hour to answer a questionnaire. You're more likely to be motivated if you're upset with the current situation. So that narrows down the basis for data considerably. It would be better if governments would ask a broader selection of the public on their opinion. It should be in their best interest to know what citizens think. But regardless of bias, evaluating the bike-friendliness of a city on a regular basis gives a good idea on how well your city compares with others, and lets you monitor progress over time. It also gives a glimpse of an underlying shift in expectations. If nothing is changing in your city, but the results are getting worse, it might be because demand has increased and more vulnerable groups with different needs, like elderly, children, or beginners, are taking to the streets by bike now too. Or people are just getting frustrated at the lack of progress. A simple painted bike lane might simply not be enough today, even if this was regarded as progress 20 years ago. Unfortunately, bike-friendly surveys are only practiced in a few selected countries, which usually already have a vibrant cycling culture. But as cycling is on the rise around the globe, such surveys are becoming more common. And in this video, I'd like to put the spotlight on France, which has just released its results for the fourth time since 2017. France is an interesting example. Apart from sporting events like the famous Tour de France, bicycles almost disappeared out of towns and cities in the second part of the 20th century, but have since made a remarkable revival. This goes hand in hand with a growing cycling tourism industry, leading to a vast network of voies vertes, linking regions and cities together. This is why France gets a considerable amount of attention on this channel, which is focused on bike traveling. But as bike travelers frequently enjoy visiting cities, we're benefiting from the same infrastructure put in place that the French use to get their baguettes from the bakery. So let's see how locals view the cities we like to visit. Is Paris leading the way and exercising its influence on other cities? Before we get to the results, though, let's have a brief look at how the survey, which was initiated by the French Cycling Association FUB, short for Fédération Française des Usagers de la Bicyclette, was conducted. Called the Bicycle Barometer, the 2025 survey was open on the official website in the spring of that year. Cyclists were invited to assess their riding experience in one or several municipalities. Each of the 26 questions, grouped into 5 themes, was rated from 1 negative to 6 positive. They covered safety, continuity and quality of cycle routes, comfort, maintenance, signage and surface quality, local effort, how actively the council is improving things, facilities and services, parking, repair and maintenance provision, and the overall feeling. This is absolutely fantastic. A score was then calculated for each municipality that received enough responses. 50 minimum for towns over 5,000 inhabitants and 30 for smaller ones. Participation has risen with each of its 4 editions, evidence of a growing social demand for cycling. The 2025 edition marks a turning point. 334,301 responses, 2,646 qualified municipalities, and 12,984 communities represented. That's more than 1 in 3 across France. In addition, the questionnaire was complemented by a vast participatory map covering the whole of France. Each participant could mark on the map difficult or dangerous spots, areas recently improved, and places needing cycle parking facilities. Together, they identified over 1.1 million locations, often with comments, creating a detailed citizen-led diagnosis to guide public policy.
Wow!
To ensure reliability, an algorithm detected anomalies and excluded about 2,700 entries. Collecting all of this data is just the start. The juicy part begins when you start grading the individual towns. For this, the FUB adopted the same letter and color classification used in the commonly known classification of electrical appliances, houses, and cars, from G in dark red to A+ in dark green, giving a playful and easily understandable visual overview of the state of the cycling nation. The data also show how people use their bikes: 73% for leisure or touring, 35% for commuting, 28% for errands, and 16% for sport. Roughly 1/4 ride daily, 1/4 occasionally. Cycling is certainly on the rise in France. Estimates suggest that since 2017, when the Bicycle Barometer survey was carried out for the first time, cycling has increased by about 50% nationwide and has almost doubled in large cities. And within the same 8 years, the share of people regularly using a bike has risen from 1/4 to 1/3 of the population. That's quite some progress in a short time. So you might expect much better results to show up in the survey, especially as cities all around have adopted bike-friendly policies and promotional schemes. But sadly, the reality is that change is slow and incremental. And despite all the heated debate surrounding traffic congestion, cycling is still a fringe mode of transport. On a national level, the overall cycling climate has improved slightly since 2021, up 3%, but remains mediocre and highly uneven from one area to another. The national average score is 3.09 points out of 6, up from 2.98 on the last survey in 2021. 64% of respondents still consider local cycling conditions poor. 47.8% say things have not changed in the past 2 years. 36.5% see improvement, and 15.8% think conditions have worsened. The results also reflect that cycling is gaining more of its momentum in metropolitan areas than in smaller towns. Sure, cycling is more appealing where driving is restricted and traffic congestion is high, so this might just seem logical. However, it's also because conditions are usually worse in smaller municipalities. Generally speaking, the more effort cities put into cycling infrastructure, the more comfortable cycling is, and the more people it will appeal to. This explains why large cities perform better on average than smaller ones. Here's the breakdown. Major cities receive 3.56 points on average. Medium-sized towns, 3.25. Suburban municipalities, 3.16. The same amount as with small towns. But villages and rural communes only receive 3 points. As mentioned, a total of 2,646 municipalities were listed in the survey's report. You can check out each of them if you follow the link in the description below. But in this video, we'll focus on the major cities and won't bore you with the names of unknown places. Each municipality was also ranked within their group because there's not much point of comparing a village with a metropolitan area. But by ranking them in the survey, the FUB has created competition and a race to the top. Although the goal would be to have all cities on first spot, so no cyclist gets discriminated simply because they live in the wrong place. But until then, we can get excited to see who's leading and which city offers the best cycling experience. So here's the top 10 of cycling cities in France 2025. Ranking 10th is Besançon, with a rating of 3.67 points out of 6. Known for its citadel inhabited by baboons, watchmaking heritage, and green valley setting on a loop of the Doubs River, and located in the Franche-Comté region in eastern France near the Swiss border, the city of 120,000, with a metropolitan area of 250,000, has expanded its riverside paths and built new protected lanes through the city centre. The Grand Besançon Métropole Plan Vélo supports secure parking at tram and train stations and aims for 20% model share by 2030. These sustained policies explain its entry into the national top 10. Ranking 9th is Caen, with a rating of 3.7 out of 6. Known for its World War II history, medieval castle, and William the Conqueror's legacy, and located in Normandy in northwestern France near the Channel coast, the city of 105,000, with a metropolitan area of 265,000, adopted a Plan Vélo 2025 for the agglomeration, aiming for 300 kilometers of continuous lanes. Recent projects include protected corridors on the Orne riverbanks, upgraded crossings at the city gates, and improved links to the university campuses. The barometer highlights a marked rise in cyclist satisfaction thanks to clearer wayfinding and safer intersections. Ranking 8th is Bordeaux, with a rating of 3.72 points out of 6. Known for its world-famous wine trade, elegant 18th and 19th century architecture, and UNESCO-listed historic centre, and located in the Nouvelle-Aquitaine region in southwestern France near the Atlantic, the city of 260,000, with a metropolitan area of 1.2 million, is extending its Réseau Vélo Express and creating continuous links to suburban communes, and has added more than 200 kilometers of lanes since 2020, prioritizing safe junctions and secure parking near tram stops. Ranking 7th is Nantes, with a rating of 3.88 points out of 6. Known as the port city on the Loire River, and for its historic maritime heritage and vibrant cultural scene, and located in the Pays de la Loire region in western France near the Atlantic coast, the city of 310,000, with a metropolitan area of 650,000, maintains one of France's most mature cycling networks, with over 600 kilometers of routes. Recent works focus on bridging gaps between neighborhoods and suburbs, upgrading riverfront corridors, and expanding cycle parking. The Plan Vélo 2023 to 2026 sets out 125 million euros investment, including a Réseau Express Vélo Nantais. Model share in central Nantes has doubled since 2015, reflected in steady barometer progress. We've recently uploaded a video report on the current status when we visited the city a couple of months ago, so check out the link in the description for more detailed insight into Nantes' efforts to become more bike-friendly. Ranking 6 is Tours, with a rating of 3.89 points out of 6. Known for the famous castles in the region, its wine and Renaissance heritage, and located in the Loire Valley in central France, the city of 140,000, with a metropolitan area of 370,000, has developed extensive riverside paths as part of the Loire à Vélo Eurovelo 6 route, has expanded segregated lanes along key axes, and is rolling out new secure cycle parking hubs at stations. Also, participation in the National Active Mobility Fund co-financed several urban links, improving access between the tram corridor and the Loire bridges. Ranking 5th is Annecy, with a rating of 3.9 points out of 6. Known for its picture postcard lake and mountains, medieval old town, alpine tourism and outdoor sports, and located in the Haute-Savoie region in eastern France and the Alps, the city of 130,000, with a metropolitan area of 230,000, has capitalized on its leisure cycling reputation by investing in urban mobility. New protected lanes in the city center, improved signage, and a metropolitan cycling plan, Plan Vélo d'Annecy 2025, that links surrounding communes. Seasonal bike share schemes and traffic-calm zones are strengthening everyday use. Ranking 4th is Lyon, with a rating of 4.03 points out of 6. Known for its world-class gastronomy, historic districts, and as a major economic and transport hub, and located in east-central France at the confluence of the Rhône and Saône rivers, the city of 520,000, with a metropolitan area of roughly 1.5 million, has a formal cycling plan with ambitious targets like doubling dedicated cycling facility length, major corridors such as the Voie Lyonnaise along the Rhône, expansion of 30-km/h zones, and strategic investment in continuous high-quality bike routes. These investments correspond with a notable improvement in the city's barometer score. Third up is Rennes, with a rating of 4.05 points out of 6. Known as a dynamic university city and for its cultural life and historic center, and located in Brittany in northwest France, the city of 220,000, with a metropolitan area of just under 500,000, the city has implemented a Réseau Express Vélo, a star-shaped express bike network that links the city to surrounding communes with dozens of kilometers completed and many more planned, plus large-scale works to improve junctions and continuity, changes that helped Rennes rise high in the barometer. Ranking second is Strasbourg, with a rating of 4.15 points out of 6. Known for its historic UNESCO-listed center, its role as a European political hub housing the European Parliament, and with a long tradition of cycling culture and located on the Rhine in Alsace in northeastern France, the city of 280,000, with a metropolitan area of approximately 500,000, is long noted for its very large mileage of cycle infrastructure, commonly quoted to be around 500 to 600 kilometers of cycle paths across the urban area, and extensive bike parking. Roughly 1 in 6 workers commute by bike in the city. Its continuous investment in connected cycle routes and secure parking keeps it among France's most cyclable cities. And top of the list is Grenoble, with a rating of 4.37 points out of 6. Known as a gateway to the Alps, with a strong science and tech cluster, and famous for its walnut production, and located in eastern France on the Isère River, the city of 160,000, with a metropolitan area of several hundred thousand, has an extensive network of cycle routes and has developed high-quality bike corridors, plus continued expansion and upgrading of infrastructure that supports high levels of bike commuting in the metro area. These measures underpin Grenoble's top ranking in the barometer. This ranking is clearly just a snapshot, as work is in progress everywhere. But it also shows how each city is progressing at its own pace. Paris, for example, has made a lot of effort recently, but isn't among France's leading cities yet. And other cities are catching up fast, like Toulouse or Clermont-Ferrand, which both got considerably higher ratings than in the previous assessment. But for now, the list shows where cyclists are welcomed most. And the good news is that all of these cities can also be reached by long-distance cycle paths and voies vertes. So this might give you an idea of where to travel next. Of course, as bike travelers, you'll be cycling from one municipality to the next. So you're going to see it all. And progress is often determined by the amount of support they get from regional governments, especially in smaller communities. So let's have a look at how well the regions are doing. The picture across regions is far from uniform. The Atlantic coast performs best. Pays de la Loire 3.42 points, Brittany with 3.35, and Nouvelle-Aquitaine coming in with the same score, followed by Auvergne-Rhône-Alpes and the Grand Est. Île-de-France sits mid-table with an average of 3.15. In contrast, the southeast scores much less, with Provence-Alpes-Côte d'Azur at 2.73 points and Corsica at 2.46, and the overseas territories only scoring 2.74, remaining the weakest, though Corsica shows the strongest relative rise. La Réunion stands out among overseas regions with 18% improvement, and 13 of its 24 municipalities qualified. These disparities highlight that while cycling is thriving in Western France, other regions still struggle to catch up. So let's turn to the future. What conclusions can be drawn out of the evaluation and what's expected? Since 2019, the Bicycle Barometer's participatory map has revealed the geography of cycling priorities across France. In 2025, contributors pinpointed over 1.1 million specific locations. Their feedback identifies 3 types of sites. 58% of them lack safe infrastructure or are considered dangerous. 24% have recently improved, and 18% need better cycling parking facilities. Most of these critical points lie within 50 meters of key transport corridors, regional or national routes, making them high-priority targets for councils and the state. Without action here, local cycling conditions are unlikely to improve. Among all the danger spots reported, 43% are close to essential services, around 131,000 near healthcare facilities, 104,000 near shops, and 13,000 near schools. These figures underline how unsafe or incomplete infrastructure still hinders access to daily destinations, particularly for the most vulnerable users. Bridges, main roads, station forecourts, access routes to town centers. The key locations identified by the Bicycle Barometer reveal in great detail where improvements are most urgently needed. In total, 2,553 high-priority sites were recorded across some 700 municipalities. Alongside areas of concern, the barometer also highlights 930 locations where cycling conditions have clearly improved since 2021, spread across nearly 320 municipalities. These positive changes prove that local cycling policies work and that people quickly notice the difference. Some places appear simultaneously as both problems and successes. This overlap reflects mixed feelings among cyclists towards new infrastructure. Some see genuine progress. Others view the same projects as inadequate or ill-suited. It shows that good faith debate still surrounds many design choices, and that further adaptation to real user needs remains vital. The Bicycle Barometer thus serves as an invaluable feedback tool, helping councils identify such tensions and resolve them constructively. The 2025 Barometer confirms it. Public action makes a visible difference. Where councils invest in cycling, improvements are tangible and appreciated. To transform a community from the start of a local term, the FUB proposes 3 simple, affordable steps. Number 1, redesign traffic and upgrade existing roads, create a circulation plan and convert existing lanes into safe cycling routes. Number 2, reduce speeds to 30 kilometers an hour in towns, a low-cost, highly effective way to calm traffic, reduce danger, and encourage active travel. And number 3, maintain and adapt infrastructure. Keep routes in good condition and adjust designs to new types of riders and bikes. These recommendations arise directly from citizen feedback in the barometer. The results show that regular cyclists, those who ride daily, tend to rate their towns slightly better than occasional riders. The gap averages half a point between practice levels and nearly 1 point between daily and casual cyclists. This suggests that local cycling networks still fall short of making newcomers feel safe and comfortable. For non-cyclists, 11% of the respondents, the main barriers are clear. 60% say they feel unsafe, 50% point out a lack of cycling infrastructure, and 32% complain about speeding vehicles. Among cyclists, top priorities remain a continuous, joined-up network, good maintenance of cycle lanes, slower motor traffic in towns, fast, direct routes, and secure bike parking. Across all groups, 3 words sum it up: safety, quality, and continuity. And that just about answers the question we started out with. What makes a city bike-friendly? And we shouldn't forget that making a city bike-friendly doesn't only benefit cyclists, but the whole city in general, even if it means that car owners have to make sacrifices. The sacrifices are worth it. Going bike-friendly makes a city more livable, accessible, and sociable, and thus more attractive to live in and to visit. And giving the economy a boost. If you agree, give the video a like and the channel a subscribe if you enjoy content like this. Thanks for watching and keep on cycling.